When my parents retired, they showed up with luggage and said, "We'll be taking your master bedroom. You can sleep elsewhere." My brother said, "It's what you owe." I let them unpack, then served them a notice that had them screaming by sunrise. I'm a 38-year-old man living in a quiet suburb of Atlanta, Georgia. After years of hard work, I finally bought a modest 3-bedroom house. It wasn't extravagant, but it was mine. My family dynamics have always been strained. My younger brother, Alex, was the golden child. No matter what he did, my parents would find a way to justify it. I, on the other hand, was often overlooked and expected to fend for myself. A few months ago, my parents announced their retirement. They sold their house and planned to travel the country in an RV. I wished them well and thought that was the end of it. One Friday evening, I came home from work to find my parents' car in my driveway. Surprised, I walked in to see them and Alex sitting in my living room, surrounded by luggage. "We've decided to move in with you," my mother said cheerfully. "We'll be taking the master bedroom, of course. You can sleep in one of the guest rooms." I was stunned. "Excuse me?" "It's only fair," my father added. "After all, we raised you. It's time you returned the favor." Alex nodded. "It's what you owe." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. They had sold their house and expected to move into mine without even asking. I tried to remain calm. "Look, I understand that you're retiring and need a place to stay, but you can't just show up unannounced and expect to take over my house." My mother scoffed. "Don't be selfish. Family takes care of each other." I knew arguing would get me nowhere, so I decided to let them unpack and settle in. I needed time to think and plan my next move. That night, I couldn't sleep. I felt violated and disrespected in my own home. I knew I had to take action, but I wanted to do it legally and without causing a scene. The next morning, I consulted with a lawyer and explained the situation. He advised me to serve them with a formal eviction notice, giving them 30 days to vacate the premises. I felt a mix of relief and apprehension, but I knew it was the right thing to do. I returned home and handed them the notice. My mother read it and immediately started screaming, "How dare you? After everything we've done for you." My father looked at me with disdain. "You're ungrateful." Alex stood up, his face red with anger. "You're going to regret this." I remained calm. "I'm sorry, but this is my home. You didn't ask to move in, and I can't accommodate you." The next few weeks were tense. They refused to leave, hoping I would change my mind. I stood firm, and eventually, they packed up and left, vowing never to speak to me again. It was a painful experience, but it taught me the importance of setting boundaries and standing up for myself. Sometimes, family can be the most challenging part of life, but we have to protect our own peace and well-being. After they left, things were quiet for a few days. I thought maybe that was it. I could finally get back to living my life without the guilt trips and surprise visits. I even started sleeping better, finally using my master bedroom again without hearing judgmental whispers or passive-aggressive comments about my selfishness. Then a letter came in the mail. Certified. From an attorney. Apparently, Alex had hired one on behalf of my parents. The letter accused me of abandoning my duties as a son, intentionally evicting my elderly parents without cause, and causing emotional distress. They were asking for financial support monthly. I laughed when I read it, but that laugh died fast. Because it wasn't a joke. The lawyer was real. The accusations were real. And if I didn't respond, they were going to sue. I called my own lawyer again, who assured me I was well within my rights. But I still felt that old pressure again, like I had to prove I wasn't the villain. Alex didn't stop there. A week later, my boss called me into her office. Apparently, someone left a voicemail claiming I was abusing my elderly parents, kicking them out onto the street, refusing to care for them. Anonymous call. But I knew exactly who it was. My reputation at work took a hit. HR did an informal check-in. People looked at me differently. I had to sit in a meeting and explain to 3 people I barely talked to that my parents weren't homeless, and no, I didn't throw them out onto the sidewalk. Then, the social media posts started. Alex went public. A Facebook rant full of fake stories. Photos of my parents looking sad, cropped in just the right way. Pity comments flooded in. People calling me a disgrace, a bad son. I even got a few DMs from people I went to high school with, saying things like, "What happened to you, man?" I didn't reply. I didn't engage. But the worst part? My parents backed it all up. They let Alex twist the story and added fuel to it. My own mom shared one of the posts with the caption, "All we wanted was love from our child." What love shows up with luggage and demands your bed? I was boiling inside. And then came the next twist. Turns out, when they were unpacking at my place that first night, my mom went through my office drawer. She found old paperwork, mortgage details, savings plans, even some private medical stuff I had kept hidden. Stuff that wasn't her business. She used it to make her case online, accusing me of being rich and greedy, pretending to be broke when my poor retired parents were desperate for help. I confronted her over the phone. I asked her why she went through my personal things. "You owe us," she said. "You wouldn't help willingly, so we're making sure people know the truth." That broke something in me. I was done being the scapegoat. But instead of reacting right away, I waited. Because I had a plan now. And I was going to make sure every single part of it hurt, but legally. I wasn't going to scream. I wasn't going to rant online. I was going to do this my way. Quiet. Sharp. Clean. And when it landed, they'd be the ones gasping for air. I started keeping records. Screenshots. Voicemails. Copies of every post, every message, every fake accusation. I was documenting everything. Because if they wanted to play dirty, I'd play smarter. About 2 weeks after the Facebook drama began, something weird happened. I got a knock on my door late one night, around 11:30 p.m. It was a woman. Early 40s, shaky, holding her phone and a paper bag. She said she had driven down from Chattanooga, Tennessee. Said she saw the story about me on social media. She was crying. "I'm sorry," she said, "but are you the guy who kicked his parents out?" My stomach dropped. She wasn't yelling or angry. She looked broken. She told me she saw my mom's post on a community group for abandoned seniors and recognized my dad's photo. My mom used to date him in the 80s, she said. He left her when she got pregnant. I asked her to come inside. She did. We sat down, and she pulled out an old Polaroid, faded, bent edges, and showed me a younger version of my dad standing next to a woman holding a baby. "That baby was me," she said. "So now I'm sitting in my kitchen, staring at this woman who says she's my sister." I didn't know what to say. We talked for hours. She had been trying to find him for years. No luck. She didn't even know he had a new family. It lined up too well to ignore. She showed me letters. A birth certificate. Her mom's diary pages. It hit me like a train. He abandoned her. Just like he emotionally abandoned me. And now he was posting online about being a betrayed father and playing the victim. After she left, I didn't sleep. I stayed up thinking about everything. The lies. The manipulation. And now this long-lost half-sibling just walking into my life after seeing a Facebook post? The next day, I called Alex. "I have some news," I told him. "You're not the only sibling." He laughed at first. Then I told him about the visit. The woman. The baby photo. The proof. He got real quiet. "What are you planning?" he finally asked. "I'm not planning anything," I said. "I'm just letting people find out who our parents really are." He hung up. 2 days later, the Facebook posts were gone. Every single one. My mom's profile was deleted. Alex's rants vanished. But the damage was already done. And I still had everything saved. Then the next twist came. My neighbor, Mr. Reynolds, called me over to talk. Retired Army guy. Real quiet. Keeps to himself. But he said he saw my brother sneaking around my backyard at night a few times. He didn't want to start anything, but figured I should know. So I checked my security cams. There he was, Alex, walking around the back of my house at 1 a.m., 2 nights in a row. On the second night, he tried the back door. Locked, thankfully. That was the final line crossed. I reported it. Didn't press charges yet, but the report was on file. My lawyer sent a notice. Any more trespassing, and we'd be taking it to court. But Alex didn't stop. Instead, he started messaging the woman who had come to see me, the half-sister. She forwarded the messages to me. He was threatening her, telling her to stay out of family matters and calling her a mistake from the past. He even tried to offer her money to disappear. I added that to the file too. It's funny. My parents always said I was the difficult one, the selfish one. But now everything was unraveling, and the truth was crawling out from under their mess. My next move was going to be quiet but final. I was already talking to a journalist I trusted, someone local. I had all the proof, all the records, and if my family wanted a public fight, I was ready to show the world exactly who they were. Not out of revenge anymore. This was about truth, and ending it once and for all. I met with the journalist at a small diner on the edge of town. Nothing fancy, just quiet and off the radar. I brought a folder, printed screenshots, email threads, the photo of my dad from the 80s, a copy of the police report, the letter from their lawyer, and the social media posts. She listened without interrupting. When I finished, she said, "They want sympathy. Let's give them a spotlight instead." A week later, the article went live. It wasn't clickbait. It was straight facts. Son accused of abandoning parents speaks out and reveals secret family scandal. She kept names anonymous, but the timeline, the quotes, the story, it was all real. And it blew up. People online started digging, connecting dots, finding old posts my mom had made on Facebook, things Alex said in Reddit threads, hints from my dad's past. Strangers started sharing similar stories, other kids abandoned by parents, other golden child brothers who turned rotten. Then a news outlet picked it up. Local TV. They called me for a statement. I didn't want to go on camera, but I gave them permission to quote me. My parents taught me that love is conditional. I finally stopped chasing their approval and chose peace instead. The backlash hit them hard. Their supporters vanished. Comments turned nasty. People called them manipulators, liars, cowards. Even old family friends stopped defending them. But I wasn't done. With my lawyer's help, I filed for a restraining order against Alex for the trespassing and harassment. My sister filed one too for the threats. He was served at his apartment. When he read the documents, he completely lost it. Smashed his phone in the parking lot, yelled at the server, told him I'd destroyed the family. No, Alex. You just finally ran out of places to hide. My parents tried to call me. Blocked. They emailed. Blocked. Then I got a letter in the mail. Handwritten by my mom. 8 pages long. It started with, "I don't know what we did to deserve this," and ended with, "One day you'll regret cutting off your family." I didn't reply. I mailed it back with 3 words in red marker across the front page. "You did this." They moved in with a distant cousin in Mississippi after that. Last I heard, they were trying to start over in a smaller town where nobody knew their name. My sister? She and I stayed in touch. We're not best friends, but there's respect there. Honesty. She got a lawyer too. Turns out my dad owed child support for nearly 20 years. That lawsuit is still in motion. I learned something through all this. Sometimes we carry the weight of people who would never lift a finger for us. Sometimes we bend so far to keep the peace that we snap. I snapped. And it saved me. I wasn't perfect either. I let them walk over me for too long. I stayed quiet when I should have spoken up. I thought tolerance was strength. But silence just gave them more power. They built their story. I burned it down. And from the ashes, I built something better. Peace. Not petty revenge. Not anger. Just peace. And no one's taking that from me again.